Well, hello, we're live. I'm Ed Parcaut, the host of Real Estate Jerky, and I'm here today with Chad Kennedy, Odell Engineering, but he's also what do they call your title for taking care of the Austin spot? Designer, chief designer.
Sure. Community advocate is what I just refer to myself as. Yeah.
All right. A lot of people ask me, why are you doing another thing about, the Austin spot? Well, I mean, first of all, more people need to know about what you guys created here in Modesto for kids and adults with special needs to go out and go, play with their family, be there. It's huge. And I think a lot of people, unless you have a child with special needs, and you can call it whatever you want, you don't understand this, right? I have a child with special needs. She's older now. But it'd be nice to be able to have this when she was younger. And so that's why I wanted to bring it on here. So you can kind of talk about what's going on. Did you guys break ground yet? I know we were kind of talking about that on air on the radio last weekend or weekend before last.
Right. Yeah. No, we haven't broken ground yet. The plan is that the spring, around April next year, we're going to be breaking ground. We have a lot to do before we can actually do that. We're still fundraising for the project. We need to get permits pulled from the city, get everything set in place for the contractor, and then hope that we get a wet winter, right? We need the water, but hopefully by then the rain has kind of subsided and we can get breaking ground in the spring. So we're really excited about
Why do you need water?
Good question. I think life is sustained by water here in the valley. So
yeah, I hopefully this year is not another dry year, because I don't think Tahoe and Tuolumne County can handle another dry year right now. We need some water. All right, so let's talk about how did this come about? Who came up with the idea? How did it get started? And then we'll go from there.
Okay. Yeah, great. So a little over 5 years ago, Rachel Laredo, she's a local citizen here in Modesto. She has a child with special needs, and she had the opportunity to visit a playground similar to this in the Bay Area. It's called the Magical Bridge Playground in Palo Alto, and kind of really sparked her interest in trying to bring something like that to the valley. And so she went to the city of Modesto. She asked them, what can we do? How do we get started? Got to make this happen. And they told her to call me. This is kind of a niche that I have when it comes to design.
Building playgrounds? That's your niche?
Inclusive playgrounds, designing
them,
not building them, but in designing them. Yes, I've been doing it for many years. I started out working for the Center for Persons with Disabilities about 20 years ago, and started my career out that way. And so she called me and I said, let's do this. Let's get on. I got right on board. I said, let's find a way to do this. And for the last 5 years, we've been trying to raise awareness of what an inclusive playground really is, the need for it in our community, how badly the families that live in our city and the region need something like this. There's just nothing like this for hours. You have to drive hours to get to anything like this. And so it's really important to have that in our community and be the leaders in the Central Valley when it comes to this. And so fundraising and raising awareness for the last 5 years, and now we're about ready to break ground, but we still need a lot of money. So,
all right, since you brought that up, how much more money do we need? And I say we because I feel like I'm part of it now.
Absolutely, we're all a part of it. So we're going to need still about $2 million. We can start without all of that, but it'll take about a year to build it. So starting in spring 2022, going to 2023, we need to continue to raise that last $2 million through that year.
Now, has it gotten more expensive since you've done it over the last 5 years? I know recently with the change of the supply line and everything that's happening with that whole thing, I'm sure everything's more expensive now.
Absolutely.
So my first question, who's paying? So it's being built. Have you guys bid out the actual process of building everything, or is that something that still needs to be done?
Okay, so we've done construction estimates based off current costs. You're right, everything's gone way up. Playground manufacturers have increased their cost 3 times in the last year, so it's a little crazy. But the difference between right now and last year at this time is that we have a contractor on board, Harris Builders Inc. They have decided that they're going to support this project by helping us pro bono to to be the general contractor on the project. And that's huge for us. It gives us what we need to get started. To your question, now that he's on board, Craig Harris, he's on board, he's going to help us get through that bidding process. And so we haven't done it quite yet. During this winter before April is why we need a few months to get this all in place. We need to go through that bidding process and find out exactly how much the community is willing to support. So we'll be looking to subcontractors and those who have expertise in the different aspects of the project. If you want to give of your time or of your material or whatever, there's going to be a place for that. And we'll go through the bidding process to find out who in the community wants to be involved in that way.
Right. I mean, because that could help out a lot with that $2 million if you could get people to do pro bono stuff. It sounds like your mic's scratching your jacket when you're moving your head.
I'll try not to move my head.
That's okay. We all move our head. I was just trying to get off your jacket. Because, someone will say, I heard this noise. Yeah, whatever. Move on. This is live. This is real life. This is not perfect. We're not filming it. We don't have takes. We have one take. So, all right. So we know the process. We know what we need to do. People are involved. There's people donating right now. Can you kind of explain the different equipment that's going to be there? Would you mind going through that?
Yeah, there's a lot. One of the interesting things about an inclusive playground is that it highlights the diversity within the people in the community, right? So the play equipment has to be diverse in nature, just so that everybody has something that they can latch onto and enjoy and something that they would like. So some of the cool features in the project, we have one area, it's split into 3 areas really. There's a rainforest themed area, there's a savanna themed area, and then a swamp themed area. So you have these different areas, and that's meant for cognitive understanding. So when you are in the play space and perhaps you don't have as good of a cognitive map as other people might, it solidifies in your head where you are in the play space, and so you know where to go. It creates that map in your head. And each of those spaces has some themed items, like the swamp area has one of those airboats, with the big fan on the back of it that rocks back and forth that you can play on, and an alligator, that you can climb around on. The savanna area has what we call Pride Rock, where there's a big lion and he's on the top of the hill, but there are these slides that come off of that hill kind of along the slope, so you're never going to fall off of a slide, but there's something you can hop right out onto a little slope there. There are swings that are designed specifically for children and their parents to swing together, social aspect, right? In the rainforest area, we have a spinner that is intended to be at grade, so there's no getting up onto anything. You can just walk right onto it or roll right onto it, and there's places for multiple people to sit. Again, it's a social environment where people can play together without a barrier that would exist on a typical playground. So tons of these types of things that are all over the playground. A swing that would allow you to just roll right onto a swing and have that same swinging experience without having to get out of a mobility device. So, I could probably talk for hours, Ed.
No. And it is cool. And I want to know, the thing is, people don't realize how important this is, right? Unless they have a child that is, and that's what's so great about this. And the reason I wanted to bring it on is so people were more aware of it, so that this would be on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube, and it'll be there for a while so people can find out about it and get involved. And that's why I wanted to have this on there, because it stays for a very long time. So the more you can talk about it, the better. And don't look at my facial expressions. My wife says, this is me happy, this is me sad. So don't go off of that. All right. So and when I look away, it's just because I'm looking to see if anybody. Sometimes people don't click the thing that says, if you're going to make a comment, click this to make sure you get the rights, the permissions, right? So they make a comment, and I have to look over here to see if they're making a comment. So that's why I look over this way. I'm not ignoring you. I'm just checking to make sure we're handling any comments that don't come through the thing. All right. So there, I said my piece. All right. So I like what I'm hearing about what we're doing. It seems like more of the community gets involved, the more people can help you, the more we can get this done. I know that if we're the only community right now that we're not the only community, but you have to drive over to the Bay Area. And so that means there's a lot of other communities in the other areas that would want to have one of these. And we talked about this off air, and I'm like, would you help them if they wanted to put something together?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that this really should be the standard for playground design. The problem is that it tends to cost a little bit more money because you're designing for diversity and you need a little larger area to do that. But playgrounds like this have been constructed for all levels of budgets and things like that, right? So what we have in place is a pretty robust and exciting regional type of a playground. And there's lots of options in between a small one and a large one like this. But so you can't necessarily take what we've done and just plop it anywhere. But there's a lot of lessons that we've learned through this process as a community and as designers. And so being able to share what we've learned would be a great honor, to help anybody else out in what their efforts are in their local communities.
So what was looking back, what is the biggest thing you learned doing this? Because you've done them before, right? So this one, what was the biggest thing looking back that, I know it's not finished yet, but I'm just saying to this point, that's either surprised you or you're like, yeah, let's just go with surprised you?
Yeah, great question. I think from the design standpoint, this is what I do, right? So there hasn't been anything big that's really surprised me from the design standpoint, but from the community involvement standpoint, a $4.5 to $5 million project in Modesto is a huge deal, right? And we're at somewhere around $2.1 million right now, and that is crazy that we've been able to bring in that much money in the city of Modesto. That it's a giving community, right? And it just takes getting the word out to people, and then they want to get involved. We really live in an amazing community, and that's been a huge thing. Is okay, we've learned a lot of ways to get to the people and spread the word, but just the support has been amazing. Just in the last few days, even I try to update our sponsorship magazine with the sponsors and things like that, and I can't keep up. There's just seems like every day there's another interested organization or community member that just wants to add to the till, and so that's been pretty amazing.
So what's the best way for someone to get a hold of or find out about it? Is it theawesomespot.com or what? I mean, what is it?
Yeah, so theawesomespotplayground.com is where they should go on the website. You could find us on Facebook as well, or Instagram, by just typing in the Awesome Spot Playground.
Light went out.
Yeah, my light went out.
We have those here. We have one office that it's like they go dark all the time unless somebody's walking by. So theawesomespotplayground.com is what you said, right?
Yes. Right, and on that website, there you go. Perfect.
That's why I was asking. I take forever to type. So
yeah, it's a long one. But if you go to that website, there's the story about how we got started, information about why it's important. There's options for sponsorship. You can actually go and click on the donate now link, and you can even do a monthly $5 donation if you want through PayPal. And we have people that just donate $20 or $50 a month, and that's huge, right? That it'll go on for another year and a half now, and over that amount of time, we'll really be able to build up that amount of money. So we also have events on the website. So if you want to find out what fundraising events and things like that we're doing, all that information is there and readily available.
Now, is there any government grants for this? I mean, because the government right now is throwing money at everything. Have they done anything like this for, playgrounds or anything?
Sure.
Federal wise, right?
There are some grants out there and available. One of the things that we struggle with this particular location is that it's not a low income area, and most of the grants are focused on low income areas. So at Byer Park, where this playground is going to go, the median income is just a little bit higher than the average median income is a little bit higher than most of those grants are looking for. That being said, we have been working with local municipalities, right? So the city of Modesto has kicked in a lot of money. It's upwards of $900,000. and Stanislaus County has given us $250,000. So the local governments in the region recognize the need and the importance of this and have been helping out in that regard.
Wow. That's a lot that's helped out a lot. I mean, because I got you to almost 1.2 million right there,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
I didn't have my calculator. I had to do it in my head. So I could be off. So is there anything else you want to add before we go that's important that you need? I mean, you did say go to the website, help, then they can find out how they can help. Are you guys still looking for more volunteers, more anything? What are you looking for?
Yeah. So, all levels of or different ways of participating. One way would be when we have an event coming up, if you want to support us and help us at that event with your time, that would be fantastic. And we love that. Just to man booths or to separate recyclables, things like that. That's always very helpful. And again, I think that the best thing that we can do is to share this project and the opportunities to sponsor it with those that we know in the community, right? The companies that we know, the philanthropic individuals that we are aware of. If anybody's ever looking for something to give to, here's something that is just going to really impact our community. I can't think of much better way to really make an impact long-term for our community than sharing the word about this project.
And it's getting close to the end of the year, and most companies need a write-off. So, time.
Yeah. We got Giving Thursday coming up. Is it Giving Tuesday or Thursday? I can't remember. In November, that would be a great opportunity. Pick this as the organization that you support.
Yeah, we had a I don't know if Marlene told you, but we had somebody call after the radio show wanting to donate their time as an auctioneer for if you guys ever do a gala or any event that needs an auctioneer, they will do it for free. So she has that information.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Great.
I don't know if she told you that.
Not yet.
Well, maybe the next board meeting, but yeah. So he called and he's like, I heard you on the air. I was really moved. I normally do Marlene knows him. He's pretty huge. He does all the auctions and he's like, I'll just donate my time for this. It's such a great project. So
that's amazing. See, that's what I'm talking about, just get the word out there and then there's people get support in a million different ways.
Yep. And anything else, Chad, because I really appreciate you being on today and telling us a little bit. Sorry, it took us a little longer to get you on.
No, it's fine. No problem at all. I just want to say thank you to the community. Thank you. We're going to do this and the kids are just going to be so much better off. So thanks for your time, Ed. I really appreciate you being an advocate for this as well as everybody else.
Yeah. And like I said, I'm on board to buy one of those fence post things or something to have my name or our family name or something out there. But awesome. Anybody that's watching this, go to the awesomespotplayground.com, see how you can get involved. Please get involved, volunteer, donate, whatever you can do, help this happen, because this would be an amazing playground for the kids in our area. Again, Chad, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks, Ed.
Don't run away.